I'm Christopher Worthen. I'm a family practice doctor. I've been here for just over 2 years. Really what prompted me to come to a small town was continuity of care over time and what I consider the luxuries of a small town atmosphere. As a small town doctor, I get to do a lot more. We certainly don't have any specialists per se that are here on a regular basis, so I get to do a lot more diagnostic workup. I get to have a lot more autonomy, and I have more of a direct connection to my patients, which I didn't get working in a bigger city. Plus, I have the advantage, maybe some would say a disadvantage, everybody knows you in town, and we all look out for each other. There's advantages to being in a bigger town. You have a lot of specialty support. You have bigger hospitals, more things that can be done at the hospital. But the problem is particularly as a family practitioner, I found that my role was somewhat marginalized. I couldn't do as much as I can now. Here I get to do C-sections on my own obstetric patients, get to do my own OB care, get to do the initial evaluation really of any ailment rather than having to promptly refer them to a specialist. And I find that builds better rapport with the patients, but it also provides better care as well. I take care of my patients both in the clinic, and then if they need to be admitted to the hospital, I take care of them here as well. And then once they're out of the hospital, if they need to go to a nursing home or assisted living facility, I round on them there too. Being given a really small role because you don't want to step on other people's territory, that really fractures the kind of care you can provide. Now I can deliver a baby, see the baby through adulthood, even admit the baby once they're older to the hospital. And if I'm still alive, when they're geriatrics, I can admit them to the nursing home. I mean, I can provide cradle to the grave coverage. Clay Center is about as close to Norman Rockwell, America as you're going to find. I think that's the reason why we haven't really had that much difficulty recruiting physicians. I mean, we have 8 doctors here, which is a lot more than the surrounding communities in north central Kansas have. And I think a lot of the reason is because there's very strong community support for the hospital. We don't have any problems getting the community on board if we have to do any fundraisers, community education projects, whereas in other towns that's quite the opposite. We also have a very strong population base, not just within town, but also nearby, with the K-State being nearby, and also Fort Riley. We get a lot of patients who come in from the college, come in from the Army, and so even though they may not necessarily live in town, our patient census is much, much larger than the population of our town is. I never got that sense of place, that sense of community in some of the larger towns I've lived in, whether it's New York City or Miami or even Lincoln, Nebraska. The bigger cities that I've lived and worked in, very difficult to get a sense of community and a sense of place. But here, I had that from day one.